He wouldn't like me if he knew the real me. I'll never be successful like her. He wouldn't like me if he saw the car I drove. Why can't I be skinny like her? I wish I was prettier. Do any of these statements sound like something that you would say, or maybe a friend, you know someone in your life who thinks this way on a daily basis? Well, let me ask you a question. How would you feel if someone said those things to your son or your daughter or your sister, your brother, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife? You might feel really angry if someone said that. I know I would feel really upset if someone said some of those things about my daughter, to my daughter's face. You see, what that would feel like is though that person was judgmental, that person was mean. So the problem is that we're doing this to ourselves. So how is that different? The fact of the matter is that we spend a great deal of our time in judgment of ourselves. And then we become outraged when someone does that to our loved ones. First thing to realize in learning how to become more confident in your life is to know that judgment of ourselves is detrimental to our mind. You see, a lot of times these statements that we think of are statements that someone actually has said to us, and events in our life when we were younger. I know I never felt pretty enough ever in my entire life, and I never felt lovable enough. And I believed this for a lot of years, for more than half of my life. And it was because the people that were supposed to love me didn't give me any attention. And if you've been following me any length of time, you know that I've lived a very dysfunctional life with my family. But I've come out of it and I understand that these people are doing the very best with what they have. And understand that these thoughts are simply limiting beliefs. If I can come out of that kind of a life, then I know that you can succeed. So I'm going to share with you a few things that have worked for me to become more confident, to overcome some of these limiting beliefs that I have had most of my life. So the thing is that we need to realize that when we say that we aren't enough of something, you have to ask yourself how true that really is. So as I said before, some of these statements were actually said to us when we were younger. I remember growing up being very poor. I heard some teachers talking about me, and they said that I would never amount to anything because I came from a very poor family. And my brother was in one bit of trouble after another, and my mom sure was having her own problems. And there was no father in my life. I never even knew him. So after seeing this, it really sunk in because we look at our elders as people who are superior than us. They are the authority figure. And when there's an authority figure in your life that actually says something to you, or you heard, in my case, overheard, then it becomes a reality. So this is something that was ingrained in my mind. I literally was brainwashed in that moment. So I spent the rest of my life believing that I would never amount to anything. I wasn't smart enough. I was basically a C student, except when it came to fitness. Boy, that's where I shine. So I believed that I was nothing. I would always be a nothing. And my mother was never around to teach me how to be girly and pretty, so I never felt pretty. And all of the people in my life seemed to reject me. And I never felt like I was enough. So what you have to realize now that I've come out of it is that these are just limiting beliefs. So realizing that maybe someone said you would never amount to anything. How real is that? Can you become something better? Can you become smarter? Can you be thinner? Can you be more successful? Can you become more pretty? absolutely you can. It is not the ultimate truth. I am here to tell you that all of those statements that were made on my behalf never came true. Sure, there were a lot of years where I scraped up to the top. I tried to get out of the hole that I was in, and you've been following me. I was homeless, so I made those things happen. It was like it was meant to be for me. And you got to realize that that doesn't have to be your future. So what do you have to do? So if you want to become skinnier, realize that it shouldn't first of all be about being skinny. Understand that whatever you do for your health and your fitness must come from an inner love. So let's not think about being skinny. Let's think about being healthy and being the best version of ourselves. That was something that was really key for me. I was heavy at one point, and I had to realize that I could have a better health. And so I would try a few things and just simply improve my life a little bit at a time. Literally, it was every single day I would try something, eliminating soda pop, eating more broccoli, walking a little further, running a little further. But it wasn't about being skinny. Sure, there was a part of that, but it was more about feeling healthier, feeling better. And that comes from an inner love. And then there's becoming more successful, right? You want to realize more success in your life, but sometimes that means that you need a new skill. And you have to say to yourself, yes, you are worth it. See, there's that inner love again. And we can get a little sappy here, and it becomes a little cliche, right? When we start talking about self-love and everything. So, I realize that a lot of people have made fun of that whole statement. Love yourself, right? But it's so true. The fact of the matter is that having poor self-esteem happens to be an epidemic. And make no mistake about it, there's a lot of successful people out there who make lots of money and they have great careers, and yes, they suffer from not feeling enough. So we have a lot of people out there that want to buy the latest technology and the best car and the most beautiful home. I mean, who doesn't want to have nice things, right? But oftentimes what they're really doing is they're playing this game of, I have to have something so people will like me. And oftentimes you'll find people who are more genuine, who have a lot of money, actually don't want to tell people that they have money because they want to have people like them for themselves. And it's really difficult for us when we start realizing that people won't like us if they knew the real me, right? They only like me for my money, right? They only like you because you are funny. But there's a serious side of you, but they like the serious side of you, right? So there's a lot of things that we tell ourselves that are not necessarily true. So I had something happen just yesterday where I let that low self-esteem creep in. I had a very handsome guy come up to me in the gym and talk to me. And I clammed up. I was an idiot. I was awkward. And now I feel as though I have to approach him and I simply have to just tell him, wow, I felt pretty awkward. But that was more about the cute guy. And I didn't feel like I was good enough. So there it is. It's always there, and you have to talk to yourself and tell yourself, okay, so if he doesn't think that I'm good enough for him, then there will be ultimately someone else who thinks that I am good enough for them. I am pretty enough. I am funny enough. But it's all up here. These are these limiting beliefs that we have, and once you conquer your limiting beliefs, it will change your life forever. So we need to realize that we sit in judgment of ourselves. That's the first problem, is realize that the things that you say in your mind are things that are not ultimately true, right? We have to realize that if you say that you aren't smart enough, realize that that is not the ultimate truth, and yes, you can go out and get a better education. And your life will change because you went out and did that. It takes a little bit of some courage to go and do that. But we need to make sure that we do not sit in judgment of ourselves, because we would not allow that kind of treatment for our loved ones, right? But yet we allow it for ourselves. And that is no way for us to live our life. So this video was supposed to be a little bit of some encouragement and some empowerment for you. You see, I still deal with this every single day. It was one thing when I started the bodybuilding lifestyle. It was about how I could get on stage. So you realize that you have to eat a certain way. And I used to have to bring my food to Thanksgiving dinners or to Christmas dinners or something like this. And then I was absolutely no fun on dates because I didn't have brandy or I didn't drink wine. Couldn't have those extra calories, right? But I did get first place. And it was because of my dedication and commitment, and my mind was set on this goal. But I was weird and I wasn't accepted. And then I get worse. What do? I turn vegan on everybody. So now I don't eat meat. Oh, he won't like me if he found out that I don't eat meat or I don't eat cheese. I mean, how weird is that, right? And I homeschool. Oh boy, they won't like me. So this is a limiting belief. The bottom line is that there's going to be a lot of men out there that are not going to want to date me because I'm a vegan, because I'm super clean, because I like health food, because I drink very little. So then what do? I get even weirder. And now I'm eating a lot more raw food. So now who's going to like me? So I sit here sometimes and I think to myself, he won't like me because of my lifestyle. Sometimes I don't even shower until 10 o'clock in the morning. And it's a very untraditional lifestyle that I live. So I get the idea that you think that someone won't accept you. And the bottom line is that is not the ultimate reality. There will be someone out there for me who accepts me for, let's call them quirks, right? I don't eat meat and I eat more raw food and I drink very little alcohol. I'm a little bit more of a health nut. So he will actually like me for how it makes me look and how vibrant I feel, right? And I have to stay strong in my convictions for who I am. So this is the bottom line for you. For whatever your quirks are, for whatever you think your limitations are, you need to realize this is you, this is who you are to your core, and you need to learn to have some acceptance. We talked about self-love here. And I did a video, and I will link it here below, about having the courage to be authentic, to be yourself. And it is not an easy thing to do. But understanding why you do what you do is at the core of your values and your belief system. Ultimately, if you are doing something in your life that you believe strongly in, that is healthy for you, then that is where you gain your power. But if you are feeling sorrow that you're not pretty enough and that you're not successful enough, then these are things that you need to evaluate and ask yourself exactly what you want. And if you do want to improve, right? We realize as humans, we have basic human needs. We know that we need love, right? We know that we need attention. But beyond that, we need to grow. We need to feel like we're growing as humans, right? In our heart, in our mind, and becoming a better person every day. So on my journey to becoming a better person, I have learned a lot of things. And one of those things is self-acceptance, right? But realizing that it is a journey, going out and pursuing growth, personal growth. And I became a personal growth junkie many, many years ago, and that is where I get the study of the mind. So here in this last bit of the video, I just want you to just really try to accept yourself for who you are and stop the judgment. So that's all I have for you in this video. I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, please subscribe to the channel so that you can get more inspiring and empowering videos just like this. So I'm Sharon Koenig, and I am out.